Right now, while you're watching this video, your brain is holding on to something it doesn't want to let go of. It could be a memory, a fear, or a pattern of behavior. It's stuck there, keeping you from moving forward. But there's a 6-hour experience that can completely change that. In the first hour, your mind begins to loosen its grip on the stress and tension it's been holding, preparing you for true release. By hour 3, you're finally confronting the emotional weight you've been carrying for years, seeing it clearly for the first time, with nothing holding you back. And by hour 6, you'll feel lighter, freer, and more at peace than you ever thought possible, like a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying has been lifted. These 6 hours can do what years of therapy often can't, reaching parts of your brain that nothing else can. And it's all because of one ancient plant medicine that's been used for thousands of years to heal deep emotional wounds. In this video, I'm going to show you how it works and how those 6 hours can change everything. Before we get into what happens during those 6 hours, there's one key thing you need to know about ayahuasca, why it can do what nothing else can. And it all comes down to one molecule, DMT. Your brain actually makes DMT on its own, though only in tiny amounts. Scientists don't fully understand what it does naturally, but here's what matters. It's not something your brain sees as foreign or dangerous. It's already familiar with it and knows how to work with it. When you drink ayahuasca, you're getting a much stronger dose of DMT. And here's what makes it so powerful. This molecule can cross your brain's protective barrier in seconds. That barrier is like a security gate, only letting certain things through to protect your brain. But DMT goes straight to the parts of your brain that hold on to fear, emotions, and trauma. There's the amygdala. That's where fear memories are stored. Then there's the limbic system, which is in charge of all your emotions. And the hippocampus, where your brain locks away traumatic memories. These are the areas that talk therapy can't reach because they're deeper than words or conscious thought. But ayahuasca isn't just about DMT. The brew also includes something called MAO inhibitors from the Banisteriopsis caapi vine, and this is what makes it all work. Normally, if you just took DMT by itself, your body has an enzyme called monoamine oxidase that would break it down almost immediately. You'd get maybe a few minutes of effect, but the MAO inhibitors in ayahuasca block that enzyme, which means the DMT stays active in your system for 4 to 6 hours instead of just minutes. Those 4 to 6 hours are everything. That's the window where your brain can actually do the deep work of restructuring itself. In fact, scientists have measured what's happening during this time. fMRI scans show that ayahuasca increases emotional processing in the limbic system by over 50%. That means you're feeling memories, processing emotions, accessing material that's been buried for years, maybe decades. At the same time, ayahuasca is reducing activity in your default mode network, the voice that creates your identity, your shame, your old stories, your constant rumination. When the DMN goes quiet, you stop being trapped in who you think you are. You stop defending your ego. You stop running from pain. And in that space, real healing becomes possible. But this transformation doesn't happen all at once. It's not like you drink the medicine and suddenly everything's fixed. Instead, ayahuasca takes your brain through a precise 6-hour sequence where different things happen at different stages. Each hour serves a specific neurological purpose. Your brain systematically turns off old patterns, brings up buried material, purges what needs to be released, and then starts rebuilding new ways of processing emotion and memory. So, let's go through what actually happens, hour by hour. In the first hour after drinking ayahuasca, the medicine is activating your vagus nerve. This is your body's main stress regulation pathway, the nerve that connects your brain to your heart, your gut, your entire nervous system. When the vagus nerve activates, you start feeling physical sensations that seem to come out of nowhere. At the same time, your prefrontal cortex, the thinking and controlling part of your brain, starts slowing down. This is the part that's usually running the show, making decisions, analyzing everything, trying to keep you safe by keeping you in control. But as the medicine takes effect, that control starts to slip. And this is why the first hour is often the hardest emotionally. People feel anxious. They want to fight what's happening. Their mind is saying, I need to stay in control. I need to know what's going to happen. I need to be able to stop this if it gets too intense. But you can't stop it. The medicine is already working. Your body is preparing for what's coming. And the only way through is surrender, because fighting it just makes it harder. This is the hour where you have to make a choice. You can resist and suffer, or you can let go and trust the process. Because what's coming in hours 2 and 3 is even more challenging. Hours 2 and 3 are when the DMT reaches peak concentration in your brain. This is where everything gets intense. EEG studies, which measure the electrical activity in your brain, show a dramatic shift during these hours. Your alpha brainwaves, which are the patterns tied to fear and control, drop significantly. At the same time, your theta waves spike. Theta waves are the same brainwave patterns you see in young children and in deep hypnosis. They're associated with deep emotional processing and memory access. This is when something called memory reconsolidation happens. Your brain starts replaying life events, but not the way you normally remember them. Normally, when you think about a memory, your brain adds filters. It justifies things, sugarcoats things, hides things you don't want to see. But during the ayahuasca peak, those filters drop to near zero. You see your life without lies. You see what actually happened, how you actually felt, what you've actually been carrying all this time. This is where the confrontation begins. Over 70% of people in ayahuasca ceremonies report reliving a memory they had suppressed or avoided. Trauma you convinced yourself you dealt with, identity wounds you didn't even know you had. All of it comes up because your brain's emotional filters are gone. People describe this as ego death. You can't rationalize anymore. You can't make excuses. You just have to see it, feel it, be with it. Emotionally, this is brutal. This is the part where people understand why they needed to surrender in hour one. And then comes the purge. Shaking, crying, sweating, yawning, vomiting. People think the purge is just a side effect, just something unpleasant you have to get through. But it's not. The purge is tied directly to your body's stress release pathways. Your nervous system has been holding tension, trauma, suppressed emotions for years, maybe your entire life. During these peak hours, when everything is surfacing, your body needs to release it physically. So, when you're vomiting, you're purging grief that's been stuck in your body. You're releasing fear and shame that's been locked in your gut. This is why fighting the purge makes everything worse. Your body knows what it needs to do. When you resist, you're blocking the exact mechanism that's trying to heal you. By hours 4 and 5, the peak intensity starts to soften. You've purged what needed to be released, and now your brain enters a different phase. Scientists call this the integration network switching on. Specific parts of your brain, the posterior cingulate cortex, become highly active during these hours. These regions are responsible for connecting interpretations to experiences, for making meaning out of what just happened. Your brain is taking all that material that came up in hours 2 and 3, all those memories and emotions and traumas, and it's starting to process them differently. This is where the actual healing happens. Old memories that used to trigger you, they start getting new meanings attached to them. People often describe these hours as feeling like puzzle pieces finally clicking into place, like suddenly understanding why they've been stuck, why they've repeated the same relationship patterns. This is the rewiring. Your brain is literally forming new neural connections. And this is only possible because of what happened in hours 2 and 3. You had to go into the pain. You had to face what you'd been avoiding, because you can't rewire patterns you're still protecting. Hour 6 is when the medicine starts to release its grip. You're coming back to normal consciousness. The intensity is fading, but hour 6 is actually the most important hour of the entire journey. And it's not because of what's happening right then. It's because of what's about to happen. By hour 6, your brain reaches peak neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means your brain is maximally flexible, maximally open to change. Think of it like your brain has been solid concrete for years, holding the same shapes, the same patterns. But now, for this window of time, it's become soft clay that can be reshaped. This elevated neuroplasticity doesn't just last for hour 6. It continues for 7 to 14 days after the ceremony. This is why hour 6 determines whether the transformation sticks or fades, because the window is open. Your brain is ready, but what you do in the days and weeks after the ceremony, that's what determines if you actually walk through that window or if you let it close with nothing changed. See, those 6 hours are really just the beginning. They're the setup, the momentum. Your brain has been cracked open, old patterns have been disrupted, trauma has been accessed and processed in ways that nothing else could accomplish. But if you think the journey ends when the medicine wears off, you're going to lose everything you just gained. Because the real transformation happens in the 2 weeks after the ceremony. But most people have no idea how to protect that window or what to do with it. That's where everything either comes together or falls apart. During the ceremony, ayahuasca broke down the old structures. It demolished the walls you'd built around your trauma, and your brain started forming new pathways. But those new pathways are fragile. They're like fresh concrete that hasn't hardened yet. If you don't protect them, if you step right back into the same environment and the same stresses that created the old patterns, the concrete cracks and you default back to what's familiar. This is why integration is important. It's not just thinking about the ceremony or journaling about what you experienced. Though those things can help, real integration requires structured support. You need facilitators or therapists who understand the ayahuasca process and can help you make sense of what came up. You need an environment that reinforces the new patterns instead instead of pulling you back into the old ones. This is exactly what Rhythmia provides. You'll get medical safety so you can surrender, preparation protocols that prime your body and mind, and experienced facilitators to guide you through the intensity. Most importantly, you'll get structured integration that protects that critical 2-week window. At Rhythmia, we understand that 6 hours can change everything, but only if you do the work that comes after. So if you've been carrying trauma for years and therapy didn't help you, then give yourself a chance to visit Rhythmia so you can experience the momentum of ayahuasca with the safety and integration that makes transformation last. This is your chance to make the right decision for yourself.